everyone. In this video we're going to explore some of the advanced functionality of the Radion in Mobius. So here's my Radion setup tank. There is a XR15 blue attached to this tank, and we've already set it up and programmed it. So if we press on the little sun icon, you can see there's my program. It's running. Now, if we want to dig into some of the more advanced functionality of this light, we can click on the little cog at the bottom right here. So if we click on that, what we are brought to is Radion Setup Settings. So in this menu, you can see tank name, Radion Setup. We can change the units from standard to metric, depending on our preference. We can also add a passcode to protect our tank from being modified by others. We can change the time. Now this is significant if for some reason you want your tank to operate differently than what is currently on your phone when you first connected to and set up the tank. So right here you can adjust those settings, both the date and the time. And then we have this devices tab. So if you click on the devices tab, it shows all the devices that are connected. If we click on our Radion XR15 blue, we can see all of the information here. We can also see that at the top right there is a button which you can tap on to identify the light. That will cause the light to flash so you can see which one you're looking at. It also gives you all of the current versions of OS, bootloader firmware system, radio OS, and Wi-Fi settings. So if you are talking to customer service, this is good information to have, as they can determine whether or not you're on the most up-to-date versions of those softwares and firmwares. So down here under that is Calibrate. Calibrate is a wizard that will run you through your calibration of your different channels. So what this allows you to do is make sure that all of your lights are calibrated the same, because there is some variation from LED to LED, and this will allow you to adjust that in the light firmware so that if you have more than one Radion, they will all perform exactly the same in terms of their color channels. Going back, we have max fan speed and fan shutdown. So max fan speed sets the maximum fan speed that the light will ramp the fan up to as the temperature on the fixture rises. So there is a thermal measure inside the Radion that keeps it cool, and the way that it does that is twofold. One is it will ramp the fan up as it needs more active cooling. The second is it will actually dim the lights once the fan is operating at the maximum speed. So when you adjust the max fan speed, you're not actually endangering the longevity of the light, but what you are doing is telling the light how high it is allowed to ramp the fan before it starts dimming the LEDs. So if your light or lights are located in an area where you find a high fan speed to be annoying, and you want to run it at a lower fan speed so that it runs more quietly, you can adjust it there. Again, this will not cause any ill effect to the light. However, it will cause the light to dim sooner if it starts to get up in temperature. Other ways to keep your lights cool are to make sure they are located in well ventilated areas, and also the ambient temperature that the light is operating in will have a profound impact on the temperature of the light. And then there is fan shutdown. So you can enable or disable fan shutdown. And what that means is that you can force the light to always run the fan. The benefit to doing this is so that you don't get dust buildup, and it should actually increase the longevity of the fan. However, the downside to doing that is that the fan will not shut off completely when the light is shut down. So at nighttime, when you probably want the light to be quietest, when it's actually shut off, you would no longer be able to operate it without the fan running. So that's what fan shutdown does. Here are some other options that you can do from this menu, which is warranty registration. request support or request warranty service. And then you can also restart the device here, which is a good way to reboot it should you need to. And you can also remove it from your tank. Removing it from your tank will also remove the tank if there are no other items attached to it. One other thing that you can do down here is connect directly. And if you tap on that, if you have multiple pieces of equipment, it will force this device to be the primary connected device. So that's all of the advanced functions in devices. So if we go back here to settings, what you will see then is the next item is advanced, and for this particular device there again is max fan speed, fan shutdown enabled. So again, there's another location where you can adjust the fan speed in the fixture. The next setting is reboot all devices. If we do that, you will actually lose connection to your devices temporarily, and you will have to reselect the tank because obviously you've just shut them down, so you've broken the connection and rebooted them. All right, so if we go back in there, then we get to log out. Obviously that lets you log out of your account. Feedback, there's another place where you can provide feedback for Mobius or for your devices. And then there's also reset help dialogues. Now that is a useful tool. If you've not used Mobius in a while, tap on that and then all of the tooltips will repopulate even if you've dismissed them in the past. Obviously once you read them again, they will not repopulate, but that gives you the ability to allow that to happen. Troubleshooting is a useful tool where you can verify the settings on your product and make sure that everything is in check and working correctly. And then also you can search network for new devices. So that's what is in troubleshooting. So if you had other devices and they were not necessarily showing up immediately, that's a place where you could also go to take a look to see if you could locate them. So that's it. That's a lot of the advanced functionality. Obviously the most specifically useful to the Radion are adjusting the fan settings and then also calibration. And you can achieve both of those by going to the devices area of advanced settings, and you can also by just clicking on advanced for that specific product. So again, you access all of this from the cog icon. If we go back to the home screen, you can see it there at the bottom right, and then